Okay, this is Full Self-Driving Beta version 11.3.1, and it seems like the hand-off wheel timer is a lot longer than it used to be, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this lane change for a start here. But I'm hands on wheel, and we'll see how long it lets me go without hands on the wheel. I'm just going to be eyes out. I do have sunglasses on, so the cabin camera can't necessarily see my eyes, but we're just seeing how long it'll let me go. It seems like it's been several minutes that I've been going without hands on the wheel, and it's quite comfortable. The worst part about V11 on the highway that I found so far is that when it passes semis, it offsets, which is nice, but it offsets so far that it hits the little reflective bumps that are on the road with the outside tire, and it just goes bump, bump, bump over those reflectors. Also, it doesn't exit the passing lane, so when you do pass slower moving traffic, it will just camp in the left lane and not exit the passing lane. So that's something that needs to be addressed, but very minor things. But overall, V11 on the highway is great, and I think it's going to be super awesome for enhanced autopilot. It really ups the value proposition of enhanced autopilot, which is that intermediate package for autopilot. If you can get this for less money than full self-driving all out, I think that would be a pretty good sell. I forget what they're charging nowadays. It's quite a bit, but it definitely does make it a lot better value than Navigate on autopilot was. Okay, so about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Let me tweak the wheel, reset, and we'll try it again and see if it's another 90 seconds for the next one here. But that's way better than Nav on autopilot. I think it would typically ask you somewhere in the 10 to 15 second range. So 1.5 minutes is enough that you can actually kind of just put your hands on your knees if you want to. I still recommend having your hands on the wheel, and I do typically. Especially if there's anything dynamic happening outside or anything potentially dynamic happening outside, absolutely 100% have your hands on the wheel. I don't really recommend taking it off, but the nag timer is a little bit less sensitive. Another benefit of the nag timer being less sensitive is that if you do have your hands on the wheel, it's not going to be looking for actual inputs quite so frequently. If you have just a little bump, every 40, 50, 60 seconds, something like that, that will be enough to reset the timer. So I don't know why it changed lanes into faster traffic, which was completely unnecessary. And of course I have a Tesla behind me, so they're like, what the heck's going on here? So that probably would reset that timer since I interacted with the turn signal stock. We'll let it go, but this isn't going to be accurate because that turn signal stock interaction probably reset it, but we'll let it keep going here. So it's probably going to be somewhere around 2.5 minutes, I think, just based on that. But overall, I'm very impressed with V11 on the highway. I think it's doing a very great job overall. So I've got this Tesla here passing me on the left. And you can see the on-ramp. It doesn't really fill in too far behind, and it seems like traffic ahead of you is identified quite a bit closer than it used to be. Another thing that happened, this white Tesla in front of me merged in front of me, which is fine, and the car wanted to slow down right away to build space, probably a little bit more aggressively than I would like to see. So here's interesting what we have. We're gaining on the semi quite quickly. Perfect. And then we get over, and then there's the turning indication. So I will reset that, and we'll rehack it. We'll see if it's another 90 seconds. So watch this. Big offset. We're riding right on the yellow line. The reflectors aren't quite so aggressive here. And now it's just going to camp out in the left lane. It has absolutely no exit passing lane as far as I can tell. I don't know if that's a bug, where they just forgot to enable that feature or what, but we're just gonna camp here. There's no one behind me for at least a mile, so I'm just gonna stay here and see what the timer does. We'll see if it gives another 90 seconds for the last time. And then I'll reset it, and then I will, I'm not sure if I want to deviate my eyes from the road, just to see if it will reset sooner. Because I don't want to get any safety strikes against me, but I think I'm willing to do that. So here comes a minute, and supposedly about another 30 seconds. I do wonder if this new full self-driving on the highway will make its way to the basic autopilot, not enhanced autopilot, but just the basic autopilot. I wonder if the lane keeping code will go to the basic autopilot fleet-wide to have things like the offset behavior around trucks and stuff like that. I'm curious to see if that will happen. I imagine it would, so they're not having to maintain a minute and a half. Okay, so they don't have to maintain multiple code bases. So I'm going to go ahead and reset that, start it, and I'm going to basically look around, not forward, and oops, start. Okay, so I'll take my sunglasses off. I'll just look out the window, look down at my lap, look over towards the passenger seat, block my eyes, put both hands up. I have both hands up. Let's see if I pick up a phone, what happens. I'll pick up a phone, and then, okay, it didn't say anything. So I have a phone right in front of my face. So even the phone up's not really triggering it. There it goes. So about 30 seconds. So yeah, it's definitely paying attention to what's going on with you in the cabin. So interesting, but it looks like you get about 90 seconds hands off. So that's interesting information. And here's a lane change. That's a manual lane change out of the passing lane with the turn signal. Very smooth. So anyway, hope that was useful. We learned something, that it's about a 90-second timer on the highway.